everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer. I'm super excited because I get to talk about a superhero movie. And I just saw Wonder Woman yesterday, and that is what you're going to be watching right now is my review for DC's newest superhero film, Wonder Woman. Now, this is a very controversial film. A lot has been said about this film. Was it marketed right? Is this going to save the DCEU? Is this going to sink it? Blah, 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 blah. This was a really, really good movie. I really liked it a lot. And in a year of very strong superhero films so far, this one really does stand out among them. I was a huge fan of Logan. I was a huge fan of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So, there are some high standards set already this year for superhero films, and Wonder Woman continues that with soaring colors because this film was fantastic. And starting right off the top with Patty Jenkins, who did Monster, and I've seen that film. That was a very powerful film, and she directed Charlize Theron to a Best Actress Oscar, and she does fantastic things with this film. This has such amazing tone, and it's so well done and thoroughly enjoyable what you get out of this film, and it feels like an uplifting superhero film, which is the first one in the DCEU. Because a lot of the other ones are very dark and gloomy, and this film pops. It's vibrant, there's color, you see things, and the storytelling was done very well. And one of the most fantastic things about this is a 2 hour and 20-minute film. This was paced to perfection. I did not feel bored once because of things lagging or holding too long. And one of my favorite things was this had such an amazing sense of humor about it. And there were some fantastic scenes in this film where I was laughing out loud in the theater, really enjoying things. And it's what I want to feel with a superhero film is true emotion and joy and excitement, and wonder was something that I felt watching this. No pun intended. But this film was very, very well done by Patty Jenkins, and for the most part, the action was shot very, very well. When there were scenes where I was using really heavy CGI, unfortunately, that really stuck out like a sore thumb. But I think one of the big things that made this stick out is the fighting style that the Amazons use to make these unique sequences, make them unique fight sequences. And that's the most important thing nowadays for action in film, is making it unique and making it stand out. Because the thing is, doesn't really. And unfortunately, towards the last act of this film, it kind of falls back down into same old kind of like Man of Steel ending kind of fighting, or ragdolling CGI people. But up until that point, I was really impressed by the action, and some people have criticized too much slow-mo. I thought it was used well in this film, and used to great stylistic use in this film, and I wouldn't put this film down for that. And there's also one interesting part during the first act of an interesting form of storytelling, how you got the background of exposition through Hippolyta, Diana's mother, telling her the story about how the Amazons came about, and how they animated it was pretty interesting. Now, from a writing standpoint, there was a lot of smart dialogue in this film and clever humor, and that really stood out to me. And our two main leads were very, very well written characters, and their romance was so believable. Diana and Steve Trevor felt like a real couple, falling in love, really making this connection with each other, which is so much more well done than in a lot of other superhero films. Thor, talking about you. And the writing was overall very well done by Matthew Jensen, and the characters were interesting, minus the villains, unfortunately, which DC fans really build up. It's like, we have the better villains. Not in this movie. Sorry. That was one of my main detractions about this film, is that the villains are really hammy and underdeveloped and not very interesting. And I'm going to collectively put them in the same category because I don't want to spoil anything. The villains in this overact to like cringeworthy I'm laughing at you kind of laughs, which is really bad, and they're very underdeveloped, underwritten characters. Now, some of the other Amazon characters, including the Queen, who's Diana's mother, and her aunt, who's a general, they were awesome characters, and I would have loved to spend more time with them. But this film, it's that first third. The first act is in Wonder Woman's homeland, and then the whole rest of the film moves on and progresses very well. And I would love to return to that place and with some of those characters. Now, the writer for this film was Alan Heinberg, and Matthew Jensen did the cinematography. Overall, this was very well shot, and I really enjoyed this film quite a bit from a visual standpoint. The only detraction I would make is some of the CGI is a little much, and but overall the action sequences are actually pretty well shot, and you can actually see everything. The in-shot action was very impressive. Some of the CGI, not so much. Now, one of my big positives about this film is the music. Rupert Gregson Williams did the music for this film, building off of that Wonder Woman theme, which you get to hear a couple times, which I absolutely loved from Batman v Superman, which when she arrived in that film to that music, I got so pumped. And I still listen to that song, and I'm glad that they continue to use that. But the other music in this film is very powerful and really well done, and really elevates this film. Now, from performances, I already talked about the villains, and they were negatives, but to get to the other characters, Connie Nielsen and Robin Wright, who are two of the leaders of the Amazons, they did fantastic jobs. Robin Wright was really, really impressive in this film. She was a very powerful, physically and emotionally powerful character, and I really, really enjoyed her, and especially her interacting with Connie Nielsen, her sister, in this film. And Connie Nielsen does a fantastic job as Hippolyta, and her dealing with Diana and dealing with her wanting to leave. And you got Chris Pine, who does a fantastic job in this film, is super likable, super charismatic, has great chemistry. And the big one, Gal Gadot. I thought she did a very, very good job. I bought her. I bought into her being Wonder Woman. She brought interesting naiveness to the character and a great sense of wonder to the character. Feeling like of that fish out of water kind of story, and you feeling like she's so innocent and just brings like a spark to this movie, and I thought that she did a really fantastic job. Overall, I really, really loved Wonder Woman. It is still my number 3 superhero movie of this year, which is really hard to balance. Like, oh, it's the third one, but the thing is, the other ones were Logan and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I would be so happy if Logan would get not Oscar nominations. So, like, you know that standard set high this year. But overall, I would give Wonder Woman an A minus. You better go out and see Wonder Woman, because this was a fantastic film, and I'm so happy that this film stood out in the DCEU. And most importantly, before I wrap up this review, here's a plug, because this video is also going to be not only on my Wasteland Reviewer channel, but on my friend Vinny's blog, Let's Talk Movies. Please check out his blog, cinemaconversations.blogspot.com. He is a huge movie fan. I really enjoy reading his reviews. You should check them out. He knows what he's talking about, and he does a very good job. So if you enjoy reading some movie reviews as well, check his blog out as well.